What's up, everybody? It's Outside the Ropes here with my official prediction for Shane Mosley versus Manny Pacquiao. Showtime pay-per-view, May 7th. When this fight was first announced, I wasn't the happiest about it for several reasons. One of them being I felt that they rushed to make this fight happen with Shane Mosley. They didn't want to give anybody else an argument to be a possible opponent for Manny Pacquiao. And also, Shane Mosley had tried to make this fight happen before when he went to the Wild Card gym and he said that he wanted to make a fight with Manny Pacquiao. They told him that he was too big, and he said, well, you know what, you fought Oscar De La Hoya at 147. They told him that he wasn't Oscar De La Hoya. He's bigger, more dangerous of an opponent. So Shane Mosley says, you know what, I will drain myself to make this fight happen. I'll come down to 140 to accommodate Manny Pacquiao, even though I'm the champion. And because he called their bluff, they told him to get the fuck out of their gym. They don't want to see him there ever again and sent him on his way. So he goes on to fight Mayweather. He had some success the first 2 rounds, but pretty much got wiped out 10 rounds straight after that. And then he gets into a draw with the guy that he was supposed to beat in Sergio Mora. They gave him a pay-per-view. He was supposed to win that fight. Many people felt that he lost that fight, but it ended up being a draw, which I have no problem with because I feel that neither guy really deserved to win that fight. But that wasn't a win. To me, a draw is just as good as a loss, in my opinion, because you went in there, you had a full night, and you didn't leave with the W. So that, to me, that's just as good as a loss, even though it's not a loss. But still, that's not a win either. So now that he's had 2 shitty performances, now Shane Mosley is the perfect opponent for Manny Pacquiao. When it would have made more sense to fight him when he asked to fight him the first time, because Shane Mosley came off a dominant performance. And the pattern that I'm noticing with the opponent selections for Pacquiao is that his opponents aren't coming off of dominant performances. That's not something that I'm making up. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Go take a look at it. So that was part of the problem that I had with the matchup. But the matchup is here now. Nothing can be done about it, and I am a Shane Mosley fan, so I'm going to support this matchup, order it here at my spot, because I'm from Pomona. Shane Mosley's from Pomona as well. That's my hometown hero, if that's what you want to call it. So I'm going to support him in this fight, and I think it's going to turn out to be a hell of a fight, at least for the first half of the fight especially. So moving on into the fight, I think that Shane Mosley, just based off of his last couple performances, has problems with his conditioning. It could just be his age. I don't know what type of conditioning and stamina training that he's doing, but I think either his age is caught up to him or he's not pushing himself to the max as far as his conditioning training is concerned. I don't know what it is, but part of it may have to do with the fact that he misses a lot of shots and he puts everything into every shot that he's throwing. And anybody knows that punches that you miss are going to drain you a lot faster than punches that are landed. And I'm noticing that, especially in his last 2 fights. He's just drained and breathing heavy from his mouth from the 4th round on. And if he comes in there like that against Manny Pacquiao, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think that Shane Mosley's definitely going to have to use his jab, which is something that he hasn't been doing over the course of his entire career. The motherfucker would not jab consistently all night. And the reason why he had success in the Mayweather fight, the first 2 rounds, was because of his jab. He was jabbing consistently to the head and to the body and keeping Mayweather off balance for those 2 rounds. And the reason why he caught Mayweather with that big shot in the second round was because he threw a jab to the body that Mayweather went to pull down with his gloves, and he left his face wide open, and that's when Shane Mosley came over the top with the right hand and caught him and hurt him. But he made a mistake after that. When Shane Mosley throws his right hand, he commits all the way to it. He doesn't throw his right hand sort of like maybe like a Roy Jones or a Eric Morales, how they kind of just snap it out there. Nice solid right hand, but they pull it back quickly. He leans all the way into it, and that's what he did against Mayweather. He leaned all the way into that punch, and Mayweather was able to grab his arm and get his legs back under him and get his equilibrium back and pretty much smother him after that. And if he had to pull that punch back, his right hand after he came over the top, if he had to pull it back, he probably could have put a left hand with that, and who knows, the fight could have turned out to be a different fight from there. But he just commits into landing one big punch, and that's been his problem over the course of his entire career. And I'm also noticing that his range is not right either. His distance, his range is not right. He's going to really have to work on that, because Mayweather was able to smother him, and a lot of the punches that he were throwing to the body and to the head went behind the back and behind the head. And also in the Mora fight, you notice that as well. All the punches that he threw went behind his back or behind his head. So his distance and his range wasn't right. So that's something that he's going to have to work on and pay attention to in this fight, and not go out there and try to bully Manny Pacquiao and just knock him out with every single punch. He's going to have to go back to the jab and realize that his jab gave him success against Mayweather, and he's going to need to use that. For the rest of his career, he's going to need to use that fucking jab right, instead of just pawing it out there and trying to set up a wild haymaker that he misses a lot, and that's why he looks wild and clumsy and off balance at times, because he's trying to knock your head off with every single punch. Set your punches up, go to the body of Manny Pacquiao, try to tire him out, and if you get him hurt, I say go for the kill, but don't expend all your energy, because if you see that you're not going to get Pacquiao out, and he's starting to recover, fall back and go back to the beginning, which is the jab, and set up your punches again, and try to be on a 12-round plan. Don't think that you're going to knock Manny Pacquiao out because you're the bigger guy, because I think Manny Pacquiao has a decent chin, but who knows if he can take a shot from Shane Mosley, who has knocked guys out with one punch. So that's what he's going to have to do. His range, his jab, he's going to have to be on a 12-round plan in his mind. Go for the knockout when it's available, but be ready to go 12 rounds with Manny Pacquiao, because Manny Pacquiao can go 12 rounds. That's what I would suggest for Shane Mosley to do. As far as Manny Pacquiao, I expect him to do pretty much what Manny Pacquiao does. He's going to be moving in and out, throwing his combinations, moving side to side. I think Manny Pacquiao has a lot more boxing skill than he gets credit for. He has excellent footwork. I like the way that he jumps out to the side and he throws those hooks to the body. I see him doing a lot of that in this fight. That's definitely what he needs to do, because Shane Mosley is the older man in this fight. So he's going to have to go to the body, and especially considering the fact that Shane Mosley has been gassed in his last two fights early from the fourth round on, I think that body work is going to be key for Manny Pacquiao. I think that he's going to have to respect Shane a little bit early in the fight, especially because even though he took those shots very well from Antonio Margarito, even though he did get hurt, he still recovered very well in that fight. Antonio Margar Brickfist isn't a one-punch knockout artist, even with those bricks in his hands. So we've seen Shane Mosley knock guys out with either hand with one punch. We've seen him do it before, and I don't think that Manny Pacquiao wants to test his chin against Shane Mosley. So he's going to have to move his head side to side. He's going to have to turn Shane Mosley so that he can't get his feet set, just like he did against Oscar De La Hoya. He was bouncing all around Oscar De La Hoya. When Oscar De La Hoya turned around to find Manny Pacquiao, he found 2 or 3 punch combinations hitting him square in the nose. And I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to try to utilize his footwork and turning his opponents against Shane Mosley. I see him doing a lot of that. And Shane Mosley, I believe, is going to lose a 12-round decision to Manny Pacquiao. I don't think that he's going to knock him out. There is a possibility that he can be stopped because of an accumulation of punches, maybe. If there was going to be a stoppage, that's the way that I would go. But I don't think that he's going to knock Mosley out clean. I think that if Shane Mosley were to win this fight, it would be by a knockout. And I think the further the fight goes to the 12th round, the closer that it edges to the 12th, I think that the fight is going to slip away from Shane Mosley. my honest opinion. Just because I'm a Shane Mosley fan, I'm not going to get up here and make a prediction that doesn't make any sense. So don't get it twisted. I am supporting Shane Mosley in this fight, and I hope that he wins this fight. It has nothing to do with him being black, but even if that was the reason why I was picking or supporting Shane Mosley and hoping that Shane Mosley wins the fight, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's all a part of boxing. When you see Mexican fighters versus Puerto Rican fighters, you see the Puerto Rican guys there with their Puerto Rican flags, you see the Mexican guys with their Mexican flags, and everybody's coming out to support their nationality. So some people have suggested that that's racist and shit like that, but that's all a part of boxing, and that's natural. So even if that was the reason, there's nothing wrong with that. But I am rolling with Shane Mosley and hoping that he wins this fight for the simple fact that he's from my hometown. There's not very many motherfuckers from my hometown ever doing shit with themselves. So I've always looked up to Shane for that reason, because, like I say, motherfuckers from Pomona, man, they haven't really been doing nothing with themselves, and there's really no celebrities or anybody to look up to from Pomona. So, I mean, they're Sugar Free, if anybody knows who that is. That's a rapper from Pomona. But as far as anybody else, there's really nobody else out there. So that's what I think. I think that Freddie Roach is going to give Manny Pacquiao the perfect game plan. I think that they know that Shane Mosley has problems with boxers, and I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to try to box him because, like I say, he does have some boxing skills. He can make his opponents miss when he wants to, and he can be elusive when he wants to. And I think that he's going to use all of those skills that he has against Shane Mosley. He listens to Freddie Roach very well, and Mosley is a guy who has problems listening to his corner. I mean, he's had that problem from the very beginning, and in his last couple of fights, I see that hasn't really changed very much. So I say 12-round unanimous decision for Manny Pacquiao. That's my thoughts. But one thing that I want to leave you guys with, a question that I want to leave you with. What does this really mean if Manny Pacquiao beats Shane Mosley? We've already seen Mayweather beat him. Some people feel that Mora beat him. What does it mean for a guy that is hyped up from the media as much as Manny Pacquiao to beat Shane Mosley, who's pretty much lost his last two fights, to be honest with you? I mean, does he need to knock Mosley out to get real credit for this fight? I think so. I think that he needs to knock Shane Mosley out to get any credit, because for me, if he wins a 12-round decision, it's really not going to mean much to me, because we've already seen that he's a welterweight. He can beat welterweight. So the little guy card, the small guy card that keeps being played over and over again, put that card away, man. He's a welterweight now. He's beaten welterweights. We've seen him do it more than a few times now. Let's stop playing that little man card, because there's been plenty of guys who have moved up in weight and have had success. So Manny Pacquiao is a welterweight now. So does he get credit for beating Shane Mosley if he doesn't knock him out? That's the question I want to leave everybody with. But that's my thoughts on the fights. I'm out, guys. Peace.